Some of our investigators showed you a picture of a blue rain jacket.
Yeah,
correct?
picture of a blue, yes.
But has anyone at SLED or the Attorney General's office ever shown you a blue rain jacket?
No.
The controversy over tarp versus raincoat in Alex Murdaugh's double murder trial and possible lies about his alibi. We go over the top 7 moments from day 9. I'm Angenette Levy, and welcome to Law&Crime's Sidebar podcast. The third week of testimony in Alex Murdaugh's double murder trial is well underway, and Monday started with some interesting testimony from Alex Murdaugh's mother's caregiver. Her name is Michelle Smith. Many people call her simply Miss Shelley. She testified about Alex Murdaugh coming to his mother's home the night of the murders after Paul and Maggie had been murdered. Take a listen.
Was it unusual to see Alex Murdaugh at that residence that time of night?
Yes, on my shift, yes.
And that's the only shift you'd work?
Yes.
So the 8 p.m. to the 8 a.m. shift, it was unusual to see Alex Murdaugh there visiting, correct?
Correct, yes.
Shelley Smith said that Alex Murdaugh actually visited his mother more than any of his other siblings, but it was the time of that visit on June 7th, 2021 that she said was a little off. She said it happened late at night, which was unusual. She also said the visit lasted anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. Then she talked about a conversation she later had with Alex Murdaugh about that visit.
And what did he tell you?
That he was sitting at the house. He was at the house.
Say it again.
He was at the house.
And I'm not 100% following you. He was telling you or saying to you that he was at the house?
Mm-hmm.
When?
The night of the murders.
The night of the murders?
Yes.
What was he telling you about that he was at the house the night of the murders?
That he'd been there 30 to 40 minutes.
Was he telling you that? Did he ask you anything about that when he was talking to you?
Yes.
Did he indicate to you what he wanted you to do with that information?
No. Mm-mm. No.
What did he say?
He just said that he was at the house. The 30 to 40 minutes, I said.
You said what? Was he there 30 or 40 minutes that night?
Not to my recall.
Why are you crying, Ms. Smith?
Because they're a good family, and I love working there. And I'm sorry all this happened.
Shelley Smith said that conversation with Alex Murdaugh left her feeling worried and uncomfortable, so much so that she called her brother to tell him about it because he's an assistant police chief. Smith said that Murdaugh also later brought up a wedding she was planning and offered to pay for it. Then she talked about Alex Murdaugh showing up at his mother's house about a week after the homicides early in the morning, which she thought was unusual.
He had a blue something in his hand.
Say that one more time.
A blue something in his hand. Something blue.
A blue something in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And you showed me how he was holding it?
Like this.
Is it all right if I touch it?
Yeah, that's fine.
How was he doing it?
Like this. Like that.
Holding something like this?
Yes.
And what did it look like?
Like a blue tart, like a tart.
Blue?
Blue.
Okay. Was it vinyl?
It's like a tart that you put on a car, you keep your car covered up.
Big thing?
Yeah, blue. Yeah.
And was he holding it like this?
He was holding like this.
Could you tell if there was anything in it, or do you know?
No, I couldn't tell.
The tarp and the blue raincoat were major points of contention in court on Monday. That's because a SLED agent testified when they searched Libby Murdaugh's home, they found a container that had dishes in it with a blue tarp folded up on top of it. Then they found the blue raincoat in a closet in the home. So did Shelley Smith see Alex Murdaugh with a blue tarp that morning, a blue raincoat, or both?
You've identified this previously. Does that look like the blue vinyl garment he was carrying in?
Yes.
Say that again.
Yes.
Ms. Smith, it's clear when you left the next morning, you saw the blue tarp laid out on Ms. Libby's retirement rocking chair, correct?
Yes.
And it was not a rain jacket, was it?
No, it wasn't.
It was a blue tarp like what's in here as in evidence 86, right?
Yes.
No doubt in your mind.
No doubt.
Now, our investigators, let me ask you, I'm marked for identification exhibit 87. Did they show you a picture of this rain jacket?
Yes.
Had you ever, and you told them you never seen that rain jacket, right?
Correct.
Alex Murdaugh's attorneys objected to those gunshot residue test results being presented to the jury because they say that prosecutors haven't tied that rain jacket directly to Alex Murdaugh. But Judge Newman said the jury can hear the test results and the testimony and weigh them and decide who's telling the truth and really what the truth is. That's what a trial is. Prosecutors have said that that rain jacket tested positive for gunshot residue on the inside of the jacket. A SLED agent said a preliminary test on the raincoat showed it was negative for blood. Later in the day, evidence custodian Jamie Hall testified about swabbing items for gunshot residue particles, including clothes and shoes that Murdaugh was wearing when interviewed by police.
I commented that shoes were wet with yard debris present.
Wet with yard debris.
Yes, sir.
Did you, on June 8th now, go back in your mind, when you saw these, in addition to wet and yard debris, did you make any other notes in the comment section about those shoes?
I did not.
Do you remember, did you see anything that looked like blood?
I did not make any note of that. No, sir.
With your naked eye?
No, sir.
Top or bottom?
No, sir.
Okay.
Now, here's the interesting thing about the shoes. These are gym shoes that Jamie Hall is talking about. They are different from the shoes that Shelley Smith said Murdaugh was wearing when he visited his mother that night. She said the shoes he was wearing were cloth shoes, similar to Sperry's. Hall also commented on Murdaugh's clothing.
Is this a Hanes Beefy t-shirt?
Yes, sir, it was.
In item 19.1, what are your comments underneath there?
Small reddish brown stains observed. Shirt had an odor of laundry detergent.
What do you mean by that, an odor of laundry detergent?
It just smelled freshly laundered, which is not typical of the lab. Typically, clothing smells slightly musky when we get it.
And you examined this shirt when?
On June 8th of 2021.
Now, you didn't know, did you have any knowledge about this case whatsoever?
I just knew that we had asked to make it a priority in the lab.
On Monday, the jury also heard testimony from William McElveen. He's a friend of Paul Murdaugh's.
With Paul, were you guys close enough where you shared your location with each other?
We did.
Tell us what that means. Is this an iPhone?
Yeah, it's the app on Find My Friends on the iPhone.
And what does it mean to actually share your location with someone?
Just means at any point in time you can open your phone and see where all your friends are and pinpoint their exact location.
Did you do that with many people?
Probably 5 or 10.
Do you know if Paul did that with many people?
Don't think Paul did with many people, no.
When you spent time down at the hangar and the kennels, was it common for firearms to be stored down there or left down there?
Not common, no.
In those times, you said you've been about there about 30 to 40 times. How would you explain common? Was it something that you frequently see or not frequently?
I can't remember a time I've seen firearms left at the sheds.
I think William McElveen made a couple of important points here. First of all, the defense is suggesting and has suggested through other witnesses that anybody who had access to Paul Murdaugh's Snapchat could have seen his location on the night of the murders. And also, William McElveen said that Paul and Maggie typically stopped at the kennels to say goodbye to the boys before leaving the property.
If anyone was leaving the house or coming back and you all were down at the shed area, the kennel area, what was the normal course of action for Mr. and Mrs. Murdaugh if they were leaving the house and exiting and you were down there?
Typically they would come check on us and drive by and just say hey. But
That was normal?
I would say it's normal, yes.
And that's it for this edition of Law and Crime Sidebar Podcast. It is produced by Michael Deininger and Sam Goldberg. Bobby Szoke is our director of YouTube. Alyssa Fisher handles our bookings, and Kiera Bronson does our social media. You can download and listen to Sidebar on Apple, Spotify, Google, or wherever else you get your podcasts. And of course, you can always watch it on Law and Crime's YouTube channel. I'm Angenette Levy, and I will see you next time.